Halftime is brought to you by Supercuts, who supports local teams. Supercuts. We're super into the movement.
Yeah, they got it going on.
Good morning, Vietnam!
Broadcasting live from the Bud Light Studio.
I love Arkansas. I love everything here. Give me that thing here. Woo!
On your favorite Arkansas sports talk station.
Why did that happen in Fayetteville, Arkansas?
Dixon Street. It'll get you.
Streaming live from
Hit that line.
.com.
You want answers. I want the truth. You can't handle the truth.
This is Halftime.
Man, that ball got out of here in a hurry.
With Phil Elson and Ty Richardson.
Phil, you're one of the best baseball announcers in the country, and Ty, you're one of the best up-and-coming young talents in the broadcasting industry. You really do your homework.
See ya, D-Mac. Hold on, Matt Ryan. D-Mac not looking back. Touchdown. How about that Heisman, Mark Jones? How do you like it? Wide open again.
All right, hold on. It's almost halftime.
You know, when this show started about, a year and a month ago, I had a conversation with Tommy Kraft asking, what is this show going to be about? We didn't even know what the name was. We kind of knew who the co-hosts were going to be, as long as Tommy Kraft and those powers that be went along with it. And it seemed a pretty simple answer, especially during this time of the year, fall, when football is dominant, and we're on a 3-station network that airs every University of Arkansas athletic event outside of the women's basketball team. Even the ones that get broadcast, they get broadcast right here on any of our 3 affiliates. So, I mean, it was a pretty easy answer. It's going to be about Razorback sports. And so, you know, when the football program, the program that gets the most donations, has the largest stadium, has the biggest spotlight placed on them of any of the other athletic programs at any university in a state that doesn't have major league teams, you end up finding yourself in a position where it is going to be tough to talk about what you saw this last weekend against the Auburn Tigers. And it's been difficult to talk about what we've seen for the last year and a month when it comes to Arkansas football. I guess it makes me feel thankful that at least we weren't on the air for 4 years before that, trying to make sense of everything that was going on with Brett Bielema and everything that led you to the point you are now here in Chad Morris' second year, where you're 4-15 under the Arkansas head coach. Frustrating events, that's for certain. Phil Elson here, Ty Richardson in the ESPN Arkansas studios. And it's your day on a Monday, so get with us, 877-377-6963, the Cherokee Casino hotline. And really, Ty, if we're going to talk Arkansas athletics, as we usually do, you had some good and some bad over the weekend. Saturday was pretty much all bad. Sunday was good. Sunday was a nice day. I know you were at Bud Walton Arena. I guess I can now start calling it Nolan Richardson Court at Bud Walton Arena now that actually says it on the basketball court. You were there for the good. I know you were there for the bad as well. So it splits the weekend in two. So do you think maybe we can split the show in two since we got a 2-hour show? We can do 1 hour of bad, 1 hour of good. What do you think?
I think we'll definitely have to talk Arkansas basketball a little bit. I know that the conversation has to start with Arkansas football because you can't skip over what happened on Saturday afternoon. But there's a lot of good things that came out of the Arkansas basketball game. Obviously, no one's name going on the court. Isaiah Joe drilling 8 threes. I mean, it was fun to watch, and I enjoyed myself down there. It was fun to watch Arkansas actually win at something rather than have to talk about a team that got blown out. But it's one of those things where I think people at this point are just moved on to basketball season mentally. And if this team's good or at least competitive, then that'll help out the fan base a lot. But even Sunday, Phil, it was a little lackadaisical of how many fans were. I mean, this was supposed to be the biggest moment in the last 20-something years, putting no one's name on the court. The curse is broken. It's over. And the lower bowl wasn't even full. And that goes back to – go ahead.
I was going to say, it remains to be seen whether or not the curse is broken. I was assuming you're referring to the curse of seasons without a Sweet 16 visit.
Yeah, well, and just the curse that, I mean, the story goes, until no one's name's got on the court, Arkansas will never get back to a Sweet 16, never get back to the old ways, and that's still yet to be determined, but at least at this point, half of it is done. His name.
You're feeling at least some positive mojo in that direction.
I mean, you know how I am with conspiracy theories, and that's one of the biggest ones involving Arkansas sports. And I think a lot of people whether they think it's funny or not, actually agree with the idea that the quintessential curse is broken now. And we'll see what actually happens this season and Stevens moving forward with the Eric Musselman era.
Well, the curse isn't over on football, that's for sure. I guess that's the place to start, since it is the regular season, and that was you're more than halfway through the season now, and yesterday was just an exhibition basketball game, so definitely one does not outweigh the other, and it's tough, it's difficult to outweigh the most lopsided game in the entire SEC up until this point. When you're talking about two SEC teams facing each other, 51-10 is the most lopsided final score. So, I mean, this outdoes, this outdoes Florida, Tennessee, 34-3. This outdoes Auburn's 56-23 against Mississippi State. It probably outdoes what happens this next weekend at Alabama due to the injury of Tua. Who really knows what you can do with Mac Jones, but I'll tell you what the Alabama Crimson Tide can do. It's the same thing that Kentucky and Auburn did the last 2 weeks, which is just run the ball at will against the Arkansas defense. And you knew that's what was going to come, of course, but who knows if there was really much you could have done to stop. 298 rushing yards from 8 different running backs. I guess that was the one thing you weren't quite sure of since Boobie Whitlow was injured. Yeah, take your pick. You needed 2 hands to count the number of running backs that had some good carries for Auburn. For Kentucky it was a whole different thing. Most of their rushing came from their quarterback position, but hey, rushing yards are rushing yards, and you're at over, nearly 600 rushing yards allowed the last 2 weeks. That's mind-boggling, absolutely mind-boggling.
Yeah, and the offense didn't exactly give the defense any help, whether it was the end of the half. Connor Lippert inexplicably missing a field goal that was within his range by a long couple of yards. I mean, this is a guy that's been just really accurate throughout his career at Arkansas, and it was unbelievable to see that. And I'm sitting in the press box next to my buddy Pete, who works for Hog Sports, and he's like, I bet he misses this. I'm like, no way. It's like I can't remember the exact distance, but I was like, no way, it's Lippert. He's at home. It's fine. Sure enough, he missed the field goal, and that just was the story, not only the first half, but the game, Phil. Arkansas couldn't get anything to go their way. The offense couldn't help on the defense. The defense was gassed. I mean, this is an Auburn team that sometimes snapped the ball within 5 seconds. The play clock starting. It was unbelievable how up-tempo Gus Malzahn's unit was going, but just both sides of the football, just horrendous performance. And this is where you are right now. Vanderbilt has a win. I titled our live stream, Phil, Vanderbilt, the Commodores, have an SEC win before the Arkansas Razorbacks do. It's not like they played the first game of the season against an SEC opponent while you're playing a non-con team. We're well underway into this season, and the Commodores have a win before you do, and that's the state of the Arkansas football program right now.
Well, on that vein, Ty, there are 16 other teams in FBS that are without a conference win, and that doesn't count the few independents that are out there. So Arkansas is one of 17 teams without a conference victory. Only 4 of those are Power 5 schools. So amongst the likes right now of Kansas, who, put up a fight against Texas yesterday, where they put up 48 points, but still an L. Rutgers, who's so bad that Vegas doesn't even allow lines on them, betting lines. Maybe that's because Rutgers is in New Jersey in that manner, but it's probably more because what do you want to do? Put a line on there by 68 every time out? Northwestern's the other, and then Arkansas. So
I met a cute New Jersey girl this weekend, by the way. It's one of my friends' friends. Sorry. Had to get that in there. You
had to let that. You had to get that out. You met a Garden Stater. So, yeah, that's the thing too. You were just waiting for some upsets to happen there, and Vanderbilt over Mizzou is one. That's a big one. That is such a big one. That was my Moneyball pick on Friday. You had Vanderbilt losing at home to UNLV, who, by the way, is one of those conference teams without a win in the Mountain West, and then they go out and they knocked down a high-riding Missouri team, admittedly without their best defensive player, but it wasn't a matter of defense really hurting Mizzou. It was offense. Anyway, that's right. And really, from what you saw this past weekend, what gives you any positive thoughts that Arkansas can muster a conference win? Western Kentucky looks like it could end up being a tight game as well. So, yes, I remember feeling like this last year about this same time when you looked at the rest of the schedule and thought, you know what? All things being equal, and nothing is equal in the SEC, certainly not when it's Arkansas against almost everybody else right now. you have that sneaking suspicion that it could definitely happen. 877-377-6963 is the Cherokee Casino hotline. Your calls and your texts all throughout the show. Brought to you by Breeden RV in Van Buren. It is picture perfect time to get outside, and Breeden RV is having their year-end clearance sale right now. Great deals on new RVs, travel trailers starting at $99.95, and fifth wheels that start under $30,000. Breeden RV is the only dealer that gives new customers maintenance for life for free, plus a great selection of pre-camp trailers and RVs to choose from. Right now is the time to get outside for camping and let Breeden RV in Van Buren show you how easy it can be. You can go to BreedenRVs.com for more information. Your reactions, your calls, your texts. We got Connor O'Gara. CJ's his Twitter handle. That'll be later on in the show from Saturday Down South. So stay tuned with us, and we'll be right back after this.
Good coaches win. Great coaches cover. You're listening to Halftime. This is the Morning Rush.
This forward-facing hog is the dumbest thing that was ever done in the Jeff Long administration. Yeah. It needs to be eradicated and removed from the logo inventory. This front-facing hog, awful. That is stupid that you would even have an alternate logo when you have the most unique-looking logo in all of sports.
Don't miss the Morning Rush. Weekdays from 6 till 9. Only on ESPN 95.3.
Dee's Family Restaurant of Alma at 39 Column Lane across from the water park is now open on Sundays. Breakfast is served all day, and our hot buffet is served from 11 to 8, 7 days a week. Our breakfast buffet is now served from 7 a.m. to 10:30 a.m. every day. All-you-can-eat steak Thursday night, cooked order prime rib Friday night, and a seafood buffet on Saturday night. We have a party room that'll seat 50 and plenty of parking. Call ahead, 632-1014.
The best TV experience in the nation is available locally with personal service from WOW World of Wireless, your neighborhood professional Dish authorized retailer. Dish has the Hopper 3, the most advanced DVR, and delivers a premium viewing experience. Tired of running out of DVR space? With the Hopper 3, you can record up to 2,000 hours of your favorite programming and watch your very own favorite channels and DVR recording anywhere you go on your phone or tablet. Call now, WOW World of Wireless at 877-305-DISH. That's 877-305-3474 for more details. Or stop by our location at the corner of Phoenix and Rogers Avenue in Fort Smith, or visit us online at shopwownow.com. Get the Hopper 3 today by calling WOW World of Wireless at 877-305-DISH. That's 877-305-3474. Or online at shopwownow.com.
Monthly equipment fees and other restrictions apply. Recording hours vary. 2,000 hours based on SD programming. Remote viewing requires internet connection and compatible mobile device. Are your real estate investments being properly managed? Are you sending a check or cashing a check each month? If you're tired of your current property managers, then call Trinity Multifamily. Trinity will qualify your tenants and leases, inspect your properties, and take care of maintenance and provide you with web-based access to current financial reports, leases, and pictures of your property. Call Trinity Multifamily at 479-452-1817 or online at trinitymultifamily.com. Trinity Multifamily, your teammate in the real estate game.
Elite Roofing is a locally owned roofing contractor. If you're building a new home or maybe need a new roof on your existing home, Elite Roofing can take care of you. Elite Roofing is known for their dependability and reliability. Just ask any of their satisfied customers. They are licensed and insured, and references are available upon request. If you need a roof, call your local roofing contractors. Elite Roofing, 478-8668. That's 478-8668. Elite Roofing, 478-8668.
Littleton's Paintless Dent Repair is your one-stop shop for all repairs. Paintless Dent Repair, door dings, unsightly dents, and hail damage repair, all repaired to like new conditions. With over 1 million repaired vehicles with satisfied customers, Michael Littleton is the expert in paintless repair. Littleton's Paintless Dent Repair, conveniently located 3 miles from the Arcoma exit off Highway 112. Or call 479-461-9764. Your number one Arkansas fan.
I'm Lisa Hinton, owner of Champ Hinton Enterprises. For nearly 50 years, the Champ Hinton name has stood for one thing: selling quality cars in a different way. Taking the mumbo jumbo out of the process and making customers happy. All these years and tens of thousands of cars later, we're still here, doing business the way Champ Hinton taught us. Selling to generations of families who've become part of our family. Champ Hinton Enterprises, the area's premier used car dealer. Take the Arcoma exit off I-540 or go online at champhinton.com.
ESPN 95.3. Halftime is brought to you by Coors Light, made to chill. You're listening to Halftime with Phil Elson and Ty Richardson.
Brantley trying to turn the corner, lost the football, and the Hawks have it. They will have it at the 35-yard line. Jevin Calloway came up to make the hit.
6 o'clock kickoff this Saturday, Arkansas, Alabama. It is homecoming for the Crimson Tide, starting redshirt sophomore backup quarterback Mac Jones.
Oh, Tua.
That's right. Line opened over, I think it opened at like 33, 35. Was that what I saw? 35-point spread?
I'm going to look that up real quick. I'm not going to lie. I'm a little behind, dude. I haven't, I typically before the Monday show, I look up the spread of the game, and I haven't today. Been busy.
SEC office noted a 3 o'clock kick.
33, buddy.
The next weekend. So 33-point favorite for Alabama. With a backup quarterback right now. We'll see what happens throughout the week. I doubt that changes all that much. So it's a 3 o'clock kick for the Mississippi State game, too. So the SEC office came out with that.
Phil, we got a bunch of text here on the Cherokee Casino hotline, and Adam from Wynn texted in. He wants you to move up your timeline.
I saw
when
that.
You're throwing away the box score.
I saw. It's boy. Is that a cry to change the actual form of time and space in a way that can't be done? Adam, I would love to tell you that this piece of paper, which is if you're seeing us on our Twitter feed and YouTube stream, this is blank. That's the only thing I can do for you right now. The actual box score, this one right here, that I've got some marks on after printing it out Saturday.
I'm
gonna hold on to this thing until Wednesday, and at 1 o'clock on Wednesday, you know exactly the sound that you'll hear.
Yeah.
And then we'll move on to Alabama. Can't even imagine what and going into this next weekend. I remember just thinking on Saturday, I just can't even imagine how bad it's going to be. And I don't even know if without Tua that changes very much, because teams have shown the last 2 weeks they can just line up and run against Arkansas.
I'll say Tennessee at least looked competitive on the road against Alabama, and check and see. I can't remember who Alabama plays after Arkansas. They got a bye week. Yay. So they're not going to be they got the bye week and then LSU. So it's not like they're going to be looking ahead. But the offense for Alabama and just Alabama, they're not the same team without Tua Tagovailoa at quarterback. So maybe you could luck into a competitive game within like 21 points. I don't think that's going to happen. I think you and I are in agreement on that. But at least you don't have to play a Heisman Trophy winner on Saturday night in Tuscaloosa.
Well, we do have some texts I want to get to, and then read some updates from the Chad Morris press conference, which is going on at the very same time that Houston Nutt speaks to the Little Rock Touchdown Club.
It's funny how that works out.
Doesn't this fight? I mean, it sounds exactly like when did Petrino speak to the Little Rock Touchdown Club? Was that after the San Jose State game?
I feel like that's correct.
I think it was.
I could be wrong.
I'm pretty sure that it was. These things line up just so perfectly. And before you think I'm calling for Houston Nutt to be the next Arkansas football coach anytime soon or anytime later, I'm not. There's just some irony to it. That's all. All right. So Brent from Spiro, he says that there was something more embarrassing. He thought that the wagon rolling over. Of course, he's our resident Sooner fan. He thought that the Sooner schooner rolling over was the most embarrassing thing he would see on Saturday. But then he saw the fake punt from Arkansas. By the way, good to see everybody is safe after that schooner tumbled over, because that must have been built beautifully, like by Hyundai or something, one of those Volvos, one of those car companies that focuses on nothing but safety. B from Clarksville saw something positive. Cam Curl giving his game gloves and sleeves to a fan after the game. That's something the fan will remember and talk about forever. There's no doubt about that. That's nice. The fan will, remember what happened on the scoreboard. Jason in Frankfort, Kentucky reminds us that if we want to go positive, you can talk Arkansas soccer, which is, let me see, I just pulled up their schedule here. And Arkansas soccer, I think, what are they, 12-2? 12-2-1. So, of course, it's soccer, so there might be a tie in there. But They're coming off a 3-1 win on Friday against Texas A&M. So, yes, we can I think that might be about as far as we can go with Arkansas soccer, though. Anna Pottigil, I know, is their top player and was a recent SEC Player of the Week. So that's your soccer minute here on halftime.
Carrie sends us a Facebook message asking us if we can start talking about some of the smaller schools in the state in high school football. So,
hey, you know, I mean,
don't roll anything out with the way this season's going. People maybe would get. I don't. Here's the thing: this is always going to be the lifeline of the state. Period. Arkansas football, regardless if they're good or bad, is always going to want people to talk about. And what happens when you narrow down talking about a specific high school or a specific college inside the state that's not the Arkansas Razorbacks, it doesn't necessarily alienate the listeners, but it shrinks your audience numbers that are actually interested. So that's, I guess that would be my reply to Carrie on that.
Stephen in Fort Smith points out, talking about this weekend, Kentucky beat Arkansas with a wide receiver at quarterback. Doesn't matter who Bama has under center. Jeffrey Greenwood thought that Chad Morris could recruit. Now all the recruits are decommitting, and that's what's most concerning to him. And, of course, we haven't even gotten into the Martavius French decommitment from this weekend, which is very odd. Just very odd the way that it seems to have gone down. But, I mean, the truth is the truth, and you've lost your top two recruits over the last 3 weeks, which is a tough place to be. Let's go to the Cherokee Casino hotline. Got some phone calls ready to go. Roscoe in Fort Smith. Good afternoon. Roscoe, how are you?
Hey, I'm good, guys. How are you? I was just wondering, has anybody heard any reasoning that Coach Morris gave for not playing Starkle in the second half? I mean, Hicks wasn't really getting it done at halftime. I mean, he wasn't playing that bad, but we weren't scoring. Any reason why he didn't give Starkle a shot?
Yeah, sure, man. I'll play the audio for you, Roscoe.
When he got late in the game like that, it wasn't fair for any of those other guys to go in that moment. I felt all week long that, as we got through the week and the understanding of the protections, I was very comfortable with Ben. I never felt that the wheels actually came off. That never crossed my mind.
And if you remember last year against North Texas, Phil, he used that same line of reasoning in the Cole Kelly North Texas game. So that's very similar.
I get that, yeah. But at the half, we were, 1 or 2 first downs? And I'm not talking about late in the game. I'm talking about when the game was still not. I don't think we ever had a shot to win, but just looked like, I think if Starkle had started at the half, he'd have made a switch to Ben Hicks. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong.
Potentially you're right about that. But Roscoe, I mean, what we heard from Chad Morris last week is not the decision making that we saw as far as how he was going to handle his quarterbacks this Saturday. And I mean, he can say that he liked the way that Ben was lining up the protections and the ability to run the offense a certain way, but he wasn't making all the throws. And it's not all on the offensive line, and it's not all on drops. I thought Trey Knox and Traylon Burks and Cheyenne O'Grady at times made Hicks's line look better than it really should have been. I don't think he played very well at all.
No doubt about that. I just worry about the fact that when he was the SMU coach, Hicks was his guy. When he left, Hicks lost that job. And now we have Hicks at Arkansas, and he's playing Hicks and not Starkle. I don't know. I hope. And
in fairness, Roscoe, it's not like Nick Starkle has been on fire either. I mean, he had a real rough start against Kentucky. We know about the 5-interception game. These two quarterbacks are different in what they're good at and what they're bad at, and quite honestly, the good and the bad seem to go together a little bit.
Yeah, you're probably right. I'm just trying to figure this out. Okay, guys, thank you.
Appreciate the call, Roscoe.
I think we are too, man. I think we're trying to figure it out just as much as the listeners are, because it's just a complicated situation right now. The football team's not any good. You're trying to look for answers just like the coaching staff is. And, I mean, Phil, our job isn't to just lambast players, coaches, the AD. That's not what we want to sit here and do. But when you're in a situation where you keep losing football games, there has to be a little criticism. Like, if not a lot of criticism.
Well, and there's the problem here is that there's plenty to go around. I mean, you can't put 51-10 or a 2-6 record or a conference losing streak now at 15 games on just quarterback play. And as if Ben Hicks struggled at times, and there's no doubt the offensive line did exactly the same. Running backs had nowhere to run. The protection was breaking down. I mean, keep in mind too, you're facing potentially for kids on that Auburn defensive line who are going to be playing at the next level. So you see it all come to head, in a game that gets out of hand in a fourth quarter where Auburn has 20 points scored, 11 first downs, Arkansas with donut holes on both of them.
They didn't score till the third. They did not score till the third quarter at home, Phil.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. And it just it leads you to a place where seemingly recruits might not want to be a part of it. Fans don't want to be a part of it either. You got 5 games to play, and so theoretically there's a chance to find your diamonds in the rough. Your good moments and your fun stories and your positive things in a giant heap of negativity. But it's a little difficult right now to be able to find those things, and I'm used to that. Before I did Arkansas baseball and before Arkansas basketball became the women's basketball team became competitive the last 2 years, you had some. I've worked for some teams that are pretty bad, and you try to come in with some positivity and at least look for grains of goodness. They're a little bit difficult to find, with the exception of Cheyenne O'Grady, by the way. You want to get positive. Cheyenne O'Grady didn't just have a very good game against a really good defense, but he's having an incredible season in a very difficult position where you're not sure who's going to be throwing the ball to you. You don't know if it's going to be thrown on target more often than not. So, amongst all of it, and yes, Trey Knox and Traylon Burks have been fun to watch, but Cheyenne O'Grady is your shining beacon of light right now in a very, very rough football season. All right, we'll continue with your calls and texts throughout the show. It's 877-377-6963, our Cherokee Casino hotline. We want to talk some basketball, too. And, of course, Arkansas basketball was on display yesterday at Bud Walton Arena. Our man Ty Richardson was there. We got sound from us. We got sound from Ty. So stick around. We'll be right back.
You're listening to Halftime with Phil Elson and Ty Richardson.
Right now, I'm holding a perfectly ice-cold Coors Light. You know how I know it's the perfect temperature? Because the mountain on the can is blue. And also, it's really cold. Every Coors Light is cold-filtered, cold-lagered, and cold-packaged. Notice how many times I said cold? 3 times. It's that cold. So make sure the mountain on your can of Coors Light is blue, because that means it's ready to enjoy. 2019 Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado. Celebrate responsibly.
Joe's Grill and Cantina is the only place to watch the Hogs. Watch every game at Joe's. Enjoy half-price apps and taps during the game. And with TVs all around the restaurant, you'll have a front row seat. Half-price appetizers like brisket nachos, Mexican pizza, 10-layer dip, or Joe's humongous sampler platter. All half-price. And all beers on tap are half-price. Watch every Hog game at Joe's. Half-price apps and taps during every Hog game at Joe's Grill and Cantina. 3400 South 74th Street across from Harps.
It's football season, and the right play is at Hertz Car Sales, 2810 Midland Boulevard. Their business is quality used cars at a great price, with their #1 goal of passing the savings on to you. The latest makes and models, low mileage vehicles, with an overall experience that can't be matched. Make the short drive to 2810 Midland Boulevard today and find that there's no better way to buy your next vehicle. Call them today at 783-1722 or check them out online at buyfromhertz.com. Hertz Car Sales. What are you waiting for?
At Chambers Bank, our Arkansas roots grow deep, and you can trust us as your partner for every banking need. From a simple checking account to your first home loan, whatever you need, big or small, we are here for you. With 18 convenient branches throughout the state and a full suite of online banking options, we will always be available when you need us. Family owned in Arkansas since 1930, Chambers is your full-service community bank. Bank with trust at Chambers Bank. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender, NMLS 631520.
True Grit Running Company is where perseverance meets passion. Whether you're training for your next marathon or just comfortable shoes to keep up with your kids, we have the gear to help you reach your goals. With our slow motion gait analysis and our extensive product knowledge, we have the right pair of shoes for you. We also carry apparel, nutrition, hydration accessories, injury prevention gear, and recovery products. We offer classes, workshops, and group runs. Lace up, show up, and get your grit on. True Grit Running Company, 6808 Rogers Avenue, Suite B, behind Chick-fil-A.
Barley is the soul of Budweiser.
That's why we've been working with the same family-owned American farms for more than 50 years to harvest it. The secrets to growing this grain perfectly have been passed down through 3 generations. For them, it's a legacy. And it's why only the best barley and locally sourced ingredients are used to make Budweiser. Budweiser is proudly raised across America. This Bud's from our barley farmers. This Bud's for you. Enjoy responsibly. Budweiser Beer, Anheuser-Busch, St. Louis, Missouri.
ESPN 95.3. Touchdown! Halftime is brought to you by Supercuts, who supports local teams. Supercuts. We're super into the movement.
Yeah, they got it going on.
You're listening to Halftime with Phil Elson and Ty Richardson.
Jones floating, throws back to the end zone, touchdown! Stephen Harris, there were 2 wideouts going across the back line, and he was on that edge right in the corner, and he pulls it down.
I'm telling you, this weekend had your bad on Saturday, it had your really good on Sunday. So, I mean, for those of you who are ready to just move on to the next thing, and the next thing is basketball, I think it's going to be a fun season for Eric Musselman's first year. I think there's going to be some frustrating moments, some lulls in scoring and definitely rebounding, but there's an energy around Arkansas basketball, and we saw that on display yesterday. And as far as Mike Neighbors' women's team is going, I think things will be really, really good in a couple of years. I think they're just going to be really good this next year. So I think if you're ready to turn the page, we can help you turn the page. But first, let's turn the page on the Cherokee Casino hotline to Eddie in Clarksville. And I don't know if Eddie is ready to turn the page on football and dive into basketball. So let's see what he thinks. Hey, Eddie, you're on Halftime. What's up?
Good afternoon, gentlemen. You're exactly right. And like I said, I'll be a Hawk fan to the end. But I'm going to say this. I called in on halftime, or I called in on the post-game after the game Saturday. I believe you took my call. Listen, things are not getting better at the U of A. And that seat's getting hotter at the U of A. And that's just the reality of it. They're not showing this coaching staff. It's one thing to lose, but now we're towards the end of the season. They're not showing anything to look forward to next season. And that's the biggest shame of all. And then, I'm asking this athletic director. I don't know much about Hunter Yurchek, other than he's our athletic director. I know he comes from Houston. I know he did not hire this staff.
To me,
but sir,
losing football games is being terminated with cause.
Those are the words of Hunter Yurchek I remember from a few months ago.
Well, sir, let me say this. To me, like I said, we'll find out in the coming week more about Mr. Yurchek. Sir, as an athletic director and being a devoted Hawk fan, and I think I speak for most of the fan base, they're really discouraged. And our football program has been so bad the last 8. It was bad, but when you took over. I mean, and to me, that's leadership up on the hill has to change. I mean, our board of directors, whoever the members are, they look at our program, their attitude has to change. But the administration up on the hill who make decisions at the U of A, their attitude towards has to change. Because
and we'll leave it there with Eddie. And here's the thing, too. I think, Ty, and we hit this last week, there will be changes. It's a matter of the degree of changes and who exactly is gone. Because, I mean, and still there are going to be minds that possibly can be changed in the next 6 weeks. But there's no way that the entire coaching staff ends up coming back en masse and probably changes maybe at both coordinator positions if the head man is still there. So change, yes, I think there will be change. I just don't know if it'll be the sort of degree of change that pleases everybody after other radio shows will call it Overreaction Monday at times, and maybe it is. But 15 straight conference losses, a handful of those have been close to the same final score than you saw on Saturday. You just end up, you hate getting used to it, and you never you never accept it, but it's exactly where you are.
This is a fan base at this point in time that's looking for blood. Would you say that's a fair assessment? And by blood, I mean
if you're looking for answers, they're not there.
Yeah.
So, yes, they're looking for blood.
And by blood, what I'm referring to is someone getting canned, someone getting fired, someone getting tossed on the street. And no one likes to talk about firing. Like, Phil and I don't take any joy in saying this guy should be fired, this guy should be fired, and so on. But we're at this situation where I feel like it's our job to say at some point in the season that some staff changes have to happen. Now, I can't get on here and say that this guy needs to be like, oh, this guy's that's not for me. 24 years old, just in the industry. I'm probably I don't have enough clout to say this guy should be fired. This guy should be fired. I'm just saying that someone needs to, and it's a blanket statement. And you and I agree that we don't think Chad Morris is going to get fired at the end of the season, but he needs to make some staff changes. And will that satisfy the fan base? Probably not. For the time being, though, you will get it to a point where the fans are like, okay, he's at least trying to change something up. He's not holding to his guns with Chavis. He's not holding to his guns with Craddock or another offensive or defensive assistant. He's going to have to make some staff changes at the end of the season. I would be shocked if Hunter Yurachek didn't advise or basically just tell him, look, Chad, you have to do this. I think that's what it boils down to, Phil.
Some coaches have been willing to fall on the sword for assistants that they've been very loyal to, and I don't think that Chad Morris would have the sort of cachet in terms of wins for this program to be able to do that. But and again, it's neither of us that's out there that's saying this has to happen. It's just a matter of any other program in that position where essentially 2 seasons into a full coaching staff, you haven't seen those steps forward that you need to see. It's still an offense that at times is stuck in neutral. It is still defensively a team that has so many deficiencies that any certain scheming right now isn't really going to change things very much. And, oh, by the way, a special teams that for the second year in a row potentially has the most laughable play in the entire season in Division I college football. So, yes, I mean, at some point those sort of changes would happen at any program. Program. Yeah. I think it's just stating the obvious.
It's not just singled out to Arkansas. I don't know. There's loyalty to coaching. You have someone that you've worked with for quite some time. You and I have developed some loyalty towards each other. Same with me and John. I've known John longer than anyone else in sports media. Same with now Tommy, who I've been with a year. That loyalty develops when you are in a working relationship. But Chad Morris is in a position that not necessarily that loyalty needs to be squashed or overlooked, but as you mentioned, Phil, he does not have any clout right now. He doesn't have anything in his past at Arkansas. They say, no, I've done this, so I'm going to continue to do it how I want to do it. Because, again, and I will continue to get on the air and say this until something changes. Outside of Alabama first half and the Colorado State game, which I wouldn't even consider a complete game because you had lapses in the second and third quarter, you have not seen a full game offensively from Arkansas from supposedly an offensive guru. I don't know why we have to keep getting on air and say it would be one thing, Phil, if John Chavis' defense were giving up a ton of points. That's not what Chad Morris came in with the title with. But this unit has yet to show any promise, not just this year, but last year from the offensive side of the football. That's what's inexcusable at this point. Chad Morris has brought up that phrase over and over at press conference. Yes, the defense is not great, and that's not okay, but the inexcusable part of Chad Morris's tenure so far at Arkansas is the offense has looked pedestrian and not like it was supposed to be. We've seen that clip over and over again. This is going to be one of the most explosive plays in college football when he was talking to Brett Dolan when he was on the plane right in, and it hasn't even been close to that. That's why fans are disappointed to this point.
234 total yards of offense, a season low. 52 yards rushing, a season low. 1.9 yards per carry, a season low. And, I mean, that played right into the strengths of Auburn, who was coming in statistically the 20th best team against the rush and the 20th best team when it came to running the football. So Chad Morris, speaking to the media today, said that and these are his words, when we settled in and we played very well on defense, dominated time of possession in the second and third quarter, but failed to move the ball on offense. Try to get the ball out to the edge, use the screen game, credit their defensive unit. They didn't pressure as much as we thought they would. Still got pressure with 4 and guys in coverage behind them. And I mean, I remember talking about that last week, that with the front 4, Auburn potentially could get the sort of pressure that they don't even need to worry about bringing in a 5th defensive player in a rush or blitzing, which they never had to do. And Plus, with Arkansas down 14 points in the first 5 minutes, you're from behind, you're playing from behind the rest of the game. He says we had to throw 40 times, not as balanced as we want to be. Well, down 2 touchdowns 5 minutes in against the front 4 that's, NFL caliber. That's what's going to happen to you.
Bill, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe the strip sack on Ben Hicks on that opening 3rd down in the first drive was just 4 guys. I think that's correct. I mean, this offensive line, and I know Ben Hicks didn't play up to his standards, and I know the wide receivers and other guys that didn't play up to their standards, but the offensive line, they didn't help him out either.
Speaking of Ben Hicks, Coach Morris also updates that Ben got banged up this weekend. It's a shoulder injury potentially, so we'll see how he is and go from there. So now your QB1 might be an if, and who does that leave you with? Another QB1 who already has lost the job. All right, we'll come back with more halftime, so stick around after the break on ESPN Arkansas.
Don't spend life sitting on your hands. You're listening to Halftime.
Every day, vegetables are ripped from the earth, sliced, diced, even something called julienne. But for just $5 a day, you can help. Get 2 Hardee's Original Roast Beef Sandwiches for just $5. Slow-cooked beef, hand-dipped in rich au jus, each prepared without harming a single vegetable. So come to Hardee's, get 2 Original Roast Beef Sandwiches, and save the veggies. Hardee's, because it tastes better. Available for a limited time after regular breakfast hours at participating restaurants. Tax not included. Price and participation may vary.
Right now at Randall Ford, get 0% for 72 months on a new 2019 Ford F-150 LXT, plus $1,000 special retail bonus cash. But that's not all. How about up to $13,000 off MSRP? Or how about only $299 a month? That's it. Just $299 a month for a brand new 2019 Ford EcoSport, only from Randall Ford, America's 4th oldest Ford dealer. Stop in today. Randall Ford, 5500 Rogers, or online at randallford.com. Home of the lowest price guarantee.
I bet you're ready to finish that warm weather renovation. Whether you are a do-it-yourself remodeler or a full-time contractor, the paint store in Van Buren is friendly and special orders are no bother. Sue and Vicki, with over 30 years of experience, welcomes all your painting questions and will help you feel confident in your choices of colors from Richards Paint. The paint store is at 1414 Fayetteville Road in Van Buren. Come see them or check them out on Facebook today.
Full-time farmers, hobby farmers, and landowners, your time is important. Make the most out of that time with a brand new Branson tractor from Bush Machine and Tractor in Fort Smith. With tractors from 19 to 105 horsepower, we have a tractor that will fit your needs. Ask Bush Machine and Tractor about their special financing options and free loader rebates. Bush Machine and Tractor in Fort Smith is Arkansas's #1 Branson dealer. Check their inventory at bushtractor.com.
Your fence is more than a decoration. It's a reflection of its owner. Choosing a fence company should be done with integrity and quality in mind. The Fence Man has been providing fencing and security solutions for over 40 years. An in-house custom iron and gate department, plus an access control department. The Fence Man offers services other companies aren't equipped to do. The Fence Man, fencing and security solutions to protect what matters most. 479-782-3936 or online at thefencemancompany.com, a division of Quantum Property Services.
Being the family superhero is a tireless job, constantly defending against monsters in the closet and grass so tall it swallows small children. But who's there for them if you're not? Your local Shelter Insurance agent. With an insurance superhero sidekick, you can find a life insurance plan that helps provide a safety net for your family. Learn more at shelterinsurance.com. We're your shield. We're your shelter. Shelter Life Insurance Company, Columbia, Missouri.
Ask Shelter agents Brandon Zimmerman or Chris Dooley about a free insurance review.
Supercuts of Arkansas is raising breast cancer awareness and donating to Bright Pink. Bright Pink is the only nonprofit organization that focuses on prevention and early detection of breast and ovarian cancer. Join the fight, breast cancer awareness. Donating to Bright Pink, the only nonprofit organization. Supercuts help them reach their goal of $10,000. Supercuts is conveniently located and serving its community 7 days a week. Supercuts. They're super into the movement. Supercuts. Fresh, clean, sharp.
This time of year is hectic, and we know you have things to do and places to be. Southern Tire Mart can help you get there and save you money on America's most trusted brands like Michelin and B.F. Goodrich. Take advantage of our $29.95 oil change, which includes a 27-point vehicle inspection. Come see us at Southern Tire Mart just off I-540 at exit 14 in Fort Smith today for quality Michelin and B.F. Goodrich tires and the best-in-class service. Get where you need to be with Michelin, B.F. Goodrich, and Southern Tire Mart.
ESPN 95.3. Halftime is brought to you by Coors Light, made to chill. You're listening to Halftime with Phil Elson and Ty Richardson.
Whaley, wow, walks into the end zone, and I mean walks into the end zone. Touchdown, Razorbacks.
Brought to you by the Fence Man. If you own a business that needs more security or just needs more curb appeal, call the Fence Man. They've got a fence that can give you both. Fence Man specializes in custom installations. They know it better than anybody. Been doing it for over 40 years. Gates, controlled access card readers. That's the Fence Man. They'll be there for a quick, no obligations quote. Ask for Henry at the Fence Man. The number's 479-782-3936. And the Fence Man is a division of Quantum Property Services. Phil Elson, Ty Richardson. Appreciate you tuning in today. Arkansas basketball on display with a very classy look back. And then a fun game on the court. What was that? A 19-1 run early in the first half, after the Trojans took the lead. So I mean, Ty, you were there. What do you want to get to first? Because the ceremony on the court just seemed to, more than anything, be what people will walk away from. I mean, you've got the new logos on the court, the Arkansas outline. I mean, just look at who Little Rock's coach is. Darrell Walker. What would you want to touch on first as somebody that was at Sunday's exhibition?
I think we have to start with what Eric Musselman said about the court and then just Mike Anderson coming back in. This must have been a little bit awkward situation for Muss, but also Mike. Like, this is a guy that had a chance to be very bitter about it. Like, he just got fired a few months back. I was kind of thinking to myself heading into this game, I wonder if Mike's going to come back for this, and they kind of kept it hush-hush, but let's get Muss's thoughts on what he thought about just the performance, the congratulating to Nolan Richardson, and then Mike Anderson coming back as well.
I think the court looks awesome. I think administration did a phenomenal job. Everything, even the lane, I think looks better. The logos that they put down, I know that's what the fans wanted. It's a classy look, the way they did it. Coach Richardson, legendary coach, a little bit unique. First time I step out on the floor, and then I'm looking out there and Todd Day and Corey Beck and all these dudes that that I have incredible admiration for, and then obviously with Coach Anderson, I think it's awesome that he and his wife were able to come back and participate in the event. And I'm new to it. I just kind of stood back and watched and was just appreciative that the student athletes and our staff were a small part of it.
Phil, like I told you at the beginning, the curse has now been lifted. We'll see if the other side, when the curse that I'm talking about, maybe they can get back to the Sweet 16 because Nolan's name is on the court. But I'm a little disappointed that they didn't put the fat slobber hog in the middle. I don't hate the logo in the middle with the Arkansas State outlook and the Razorback in the middle, and they did have the slobber hog next to Nolan's name, which he enjoyed. But maybe this is just me. What is it, counting straws, or me picking at stuff?
Being a little picky. The slobber hog is on the court, just not exactly where you wanted it.
And I think most fans would be with me. They'd rather just have a fat slobber hog in the middle, but beggars can't be choosers at this point, I don't think.
Well, I think having Mike Anderson back there is an incredible thing. Mm-hmm. It really is, and goes both ways and really shows the depth of connection between Mike and Arkansas, and that won't ever go away, no matter what, the more I think about it, the more I think, this really isn't a surprise, because you could say what you want about Mike Anderson as basketball coach. I happen to think he's a good basketball coach, but he is a classy gentleman, and publicly always, was somebody that to me never really made it about him. He made it about the program and about the state and about his role in trying to bring the program back to where everybody wanted it to be, because he was there back then. So that's just spectacular. So I know you've got sound of Nolan Richardson talking about bringing Mike back and his stature in the program, and to do it just months after he was let go, it really speaks to the ability to I don't know if mend, because it wasn't a bad split. It wasn't ugly. It wasn't like what went down with any of the coaches.
With Nolan, it's not the Nolan type split.
Even with like Pelfrey, I mean, it was just like you never wanted to see him again, right? You didn't feel that way about Mike, I mean, with Stan Heath, it was just there wasn't that feeling of still loving the guy, and I just feel like Arkansas fans as a whole still, even if during the 8 years he didn't get to where he wanted to get, there's still a love for Mike Anderson. Here's Nolan on Mike Anderson.
Mike's just like my son. I had him ever since he was 19 or 20 years of age. And that's why I said Mike was my point guard at Tulsa. Mike has been in part of everything we've done. For example, we won the National Junior College Championship, but who did we play? Mike Anderson's team. We won the NIT. Mike was on my team. We win the national championship. Mike was here as my assistant. He's been a part of the family that anytime a team, a player that I would have, he becomes a part of my family. That's life. You have to do life with me then. Mike was one of those guys that was with me 22 years altogether. The thing that I enjoyed the most is that how the fan appreciated him when he came out and they announced it, that he was coming out. Because you will never find anyone as genuine. Sometimes I wish I could have been like him, but we all are who we are. And that's what I told him. You be you, and I'll be me.
Just watching him speak about Mike live, there was an emotional side to that particular answer, Phil. He was emotional about that, and I thought he gave a pretty insightful answer on how much Mike meant to the program and wants the program to succeed even after he's gone.
And so that's a look back, but now about what did you actually see? 35 three-point attempts, including almost half of them, 17 of them from Isaiah Joe. 13 of 35 from long range for Arkansas. And something tells me, Ty, that this might not be the only time this year that we see 35 three-point attempts from the Arkansas basketball team.
And Scotty Bordelon of Whole Hog actually looked it up on Kim Palm. How many times did Nevada, when Eric Musselman was the head coach, shoot more threes than they did? And there was only one occurrence, and it was 36, I believe, was the number of the attempts that they had one game. But just wild. And here's what Eric Musselman had to say about kind of that performance.
From a stylistic standpoint, obviously the three ball is something that's going to be extremely important to us, and 35 attempts from beyond the arc is a lot of attempts, but that's kind of who we're going to have to be. And
he mentioned someone in the press conference talking to him that Isaiah was probably going to have to shoot about 15 threes a game, and he ends up shooting I think it was 8 for 16.
Went 8 for 17.
8 for 17. So I mean, he chunked up a good amount of threes, and the majority of them I think were pretty good looks for him in his shooting stroke. But one of the things that Darrell Walker said, and I'll get to the soundbite in just a sec, he talked about how this team can shoot and if they can rebound, which they got housed on the glass on Sunday, like absolutely housed. They're going to have to work on that. Then this team's going to give some other teams problem in the SEC, Phil.
Well, I think that the team can shoot, but a team that's so reliant on the three is also going to be, like a team that needs the home run in baseball. That leaves you susceptible to being very, very streaky. Mm-hmm. So I think it's going to be a team that probably has some real peaks and valleys as far as long-range shooting and the whole big if they rebound. This is going to be a team that struggles to rebound. Apparently the best rebounder is Jimmy Witt, 6'5" point guard who can board. He led the team with 9 rebounds, but I know it's an exhibition, but to get out-rebounded by Little Rock, 42-37, with 36 points in the paint for the Trojans, that right there shows you where the deficiency is, and it's a little strength in the paint, and it's definitely around the rim.
Yeah, no, 100%. And Eric Musselman knows that, and he was critical of the rebounding. He was also critical of their press offense when they're going against Euler pressing them, because he was like, it was abysmal. He's like, we hadn't done that in practice. All of a sudden, it was like they had never seen a press before. And I think fans like to see how he criticized how they handle the press. And he didn't say the team. He kept repeating we. whether it was good things or bad things, he kept saying we. And he was combining the coaching staff and the players themselves, which I like to see, whether you're criticizing someone or you're giving credit. But to your point about Jimmy Witt, Phil, here's a guy that came here to Arkansas, didn't really work out under Mike Anderson, comes back, and Muss said he is the best, if not equal to any point guard in the country rebounding the basketball. And with such a small lineup, every one of those rebounds are going to be needed this year.
I just don't want my point guard to be my best rebounder.
You know? 100%. That should scare him.
That tells you all you need to know. And by the way, it is October 21st, and we still don't know whether Connor Vanover will be available for this next season. Can we start a free Connor Vanover hashtag on Twitter to get the NCAA's attention, please?
Yeah, they need to. I mean, 15 days out for the first regular season game, November 5th against Rice, you think, and I know the NCAA has to deal with a ton of compliance requests, transfer requests, and all that jab, but man, I mean, you think Ibi Ali just got cleared to play at Tulane, former Arkansas kid. So one way or another, I think the coaching staff's getting a little antsy. They're like, is he going to be able to play or not? And Muss and them have been paying close attention, probably in contact with the NCAA, but I think fans are getting antsy about it as well, Phil.
The NCAA must be just very thorough on how they take these waiver requests for not having to sit out a year, because I mean at this rate, you might be wondering if Connor Vanover is eligible to play for next season, because I remember him announcing the transfer to Arkansas and that he was going to try to get the waiver. So right then and there, you imagine he probably put the application in, or at least the university did. What's it been? It's been
it's been a while.
Like 6 months, like 6 or 7 months. So how much time does the NCAA need?
And I know I don't know the details of his grandmother's sickness, but I'm wondering how much that impacts him possibly getting eligible or not. I guess we'll find out.
I just want an answer, really. By this time, it's if you're not going to give him the waiver, there's probably reason to not give it to him. Otherwise, just let him know, let the university know, because a team could use a 7'3" guy that can shoot the three. We could use another hour of your phone calls and your texts, so get with us at 877-377-6963. Halftime return, so stay tuned.
Great camping weather is just around the corner, so at Breeden RV in Van Buren, we're having our year-end clearance sale right now. Get great deals on new RVs like travel trailers that start at $99.95 and fifth wheels starting under $30,000. Breeden RV is the only dealer that gives our new customers maintenance for life for free. We also have a great selection of pre-camp trailers and RVs to choose from. Now is the time to camp, and now is the time to let Breeden RV in Van Buren show you just how easy it can be. Breeden RV, your home for maintenance for life.
Oh, that's an RV.
Always get more at Orr.
We always put the customer first at Orr Chevrolet in Fort Smith. Since 1924, the Orr family of dealerships has grown based on one simple principle. Give the customer more money for their trades and give them a lower price on their new vehicle. It's a simple concept, really, but one that very few dealers honor anymore. Hey, we know you paid a lot of money for your vehicle, and Orr Chevrolet wants to pay you the maximum amount for it today. Then we'll give you an awesome price on a new Chevrolet. But we're not done giving you more. Included with any new vehicle sold, Orr Chevy will also give you a lifetime powertrain warranty, 2 years of free maintenance, and free car washes for life. So come get a lower price and more money for your trade today at Orr Chevrolet on Auto Park Drive in Fort Smith and 24/7 at OrChevyFS.com. Chevy, find new roads.
You always get more at Orr.
Arkansas Valley Electric Cooperative is excited to introduce Wave Rural Connect. They're bringing state-of-the-art high-speed fiber internet plus TV and phone services right into the homes of all members. If you're an Arkansas Valley Electric Cooperative member, go to waveruralconnect.com to sign up. That's waveruralconnect.com or call 1-833-4WAVE-RC. Arkansas Valley Electric Cooperative and Wave Rural Connect, changing the communities we serve.
Sundays, Mondays, Thursdays, and Saturdays are all about football. And TGI Fridays in Fort Smith has all-day specials every game day. TGI Fridays has the game on and all your favorite beers, drinks, and appetizers, including $2 draft beer, $5 pitchers, and $3 specialty drinks. Plus delicious appetizers like loaded cheese fries, boneless wings, skillet queso, and lots more for only $5. Football, food, and fun all day long. If it's game day, it's TGI Fridays, I-540 and Rogers Avenue in Fort Smith.
ESPN Arkansas weather.
Weather overnight, thunderstorms likely with a cold front moving in. A few severe storms possible. Our lows in the mid-50s north, low 60s south. Showers and thunderstorms will be likely tomorrow morning. They should be over with by afternoon. Cloudy and gusty. Our highs 65 to 70. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your forecast on ESPN Arkansas.
Weather is brought to you by Hertz Car Sales, 2810 Midland Boulevard in Fort Smith. You can call them today at 783-1722 or check them out online at buyfromhertz.com.
Radio station.
KERX, Paris, Fort Smith, from the Bush and Bushlight Studios. This is ESPN 95.3. Touchdown! Halftime is brought to you by Supercuts, who supports local teams. Supercuts, we're super into the movement.
Yeah, they got it going on.
Good morning, Vietnam!
Broadcasting live from the Bud Light Studio.
I love Arkansas! I love everything here! Give me that thing here! Woo!
On your favorite Arkansas sports talk station.
Why did that happen in Fayetteville, Arkansas?
Dixon Street. It'll get you.
Streaming live from
Hit that line.
.com.
You want answers! I want the truth! You can't handle the truth!
This is Halftime.
Man, that ball got out of here in a hurry.
With Phil Elson and Ty Richardson.
Phil, you're one of the best baseball announcers in the country, and Ty, you're one of the best up-and-coming young talents in the broadcasting industry. You really do your homework.
See ya, D-Mac! Hold on, Matt Ryan! D-Mac not looking back. Touchdown!
How about that Heisman, Mark Jones?
How do you like
wide
it?
Open again.
All right, hold on. It's almost halftime.
Really funny moment as we went into the break there. We got a couple of our listeners dial up the Cherokee Casino hotline, which by the way is 877-377-6963. And Nick and Robert, just stay on hold for a moment. We'll get to your calls in this segment. I promise you that. We got Brenton answering the phones, and we appreciate his efforts. Ty lets me know, hey, all that basketball talk we just did in the previous segment generated 2 phone calls, and we're thinking, oh, good. Some people, want to. It's like we offered up in the first segment of the show. This can be a 2-part show. It's 2 hours. We can do the football thing for about, a little more than half of it, and feel bad and not know really, what to push for the next few weeks, or we could also just look to the fact that basketball season starts in 2 weeks, less than 2 weeks now, and turn the page. So we thought, Ty, you thought that a couple of these callers were ready to do that. We're ready to do that. Go the round ball route, turn the page, so to speak, right?
Well, it just timed out that we have 2 calls right during a basketball conversation. So I was like, oh, but maybe they want to talk basketball, and so. Then during the break, I asked Brandon, it's like, so these guys want to talk basketball? He's like, nope, football.
Nope. They want to be mad, which is okay. I'm thinking that they do. So let's test that. Let's test it out. First up here in hour number 2 on halftime on the Cherokee Casino hotline is Nick in Glenwood. So Nick, you want to go football? Am I assuming correctly that you're angry, or did you want to go a different route?
I'm actually an Alabama fan, but you could assume that I want to go football and seeing how it's not even Halloween yet. It's October 21st, which typically I don't get to basketball until s'more season.
Well, if you're an Alabama fan, you don't ever really get to basketball season, do you?
We worked through it. I believe that I still believe that Alabama has a better resume to be in the SEC than Arkansas, and no disrespect to Arkansas players, they play their hearts out. But at what point do we sit here and seriously say, Arkansas, we're proud that they are in the SEC? Vanderbilt proves themselves not only academically, just like the University of Arkansas, very fine university, but they beat number 24 Mizzou. I, honest to goodness, do not think that Arkansas could do that. They lost to San Jose State. The only way we would know San Jose State is because of Steven Strasburg. I believe Tony Gwynn actually coached there.
That's fair. That's well said. That's well said, Nick. You remember your Aztecs.
Well, yeah. Unfortunately, it's kind of a niche thing to remember. But of course, I pulled for Arkansas. But at some point, when does Arkansas, who, by the way, has the best football facilities in the SEC, It's unarguable. You cannot disagree with that.
Sure it is.
The
Yeah.
facility
No, it
is
100%
great,
is.
and the fans are great. And at some point, you're kind of ripping people off of their money because they are not. The university is not putting into the program what these fans and these boosters have put into it. And it almost seems unfair to me for both a college student athlete along with the fans and alumni. And that's where I stand on that. I feel like a university like that does not belong in the SEC. And I do pull for Arkansas. I do.
Well, I've got to cut you off for a second here, Nick, and say, look, I mean, you can separate football from everything else. And I know that in a lot of sports fans' minds, and you said before Halloween, you're just going to be focusing on football. If you want to say Arkansas doesn't belong in the SEC football-wise, fine. There's nothing I've seen in the last 5 years that tells me anything else. Does that mean they're going to get replaced in the SEC? No, that's not going to happen. But as far as belonging in the SEC, geographically, they belong, and for a long time before this 5-year stretch or 6-year stretch, the Razorback football program certainly looked like it belonged in the SEC, and every other athletic program on the Hill belongs in the SEC. But it was I remember about a year ago, I remember telling people, stop rooting for the SEC just because you're in it. Nobody else in the SEC is rooting for Arkansas right now, certainly not in football, because they've become I would just say it, the laughingstock of the SEC. Robert's been on hold for a while, so let's go to Robert in Fort Smith. Hello, Robert. How are you?
Hey, guys. Real quick, I want to bring up something I brought up this morning. I'm more angry, I guess, than tense, but Baylor University won 2 games 3 years ago. 6 games, the second year under this coach. Now they're 7-0. Please don't bring up, well, they're in the Big 12, because they're winning their non-conference games. And you can't tell me Waco, Texas, you're getting it done in Waco, but you can't get it done in Fayetteville. Just
That's right.
Get 5 games.
Now, Robert, hold on 1 minute. Ty, you've got connections to Baylor with your family.
Yeah.
Wasn't this win in Stillwater like an historic win? It had been.
Dude,
I don't know how often Baylor has won in Stillwater.
They're terrible in Stillwater. And, Robert, it's like you listened to our show last week because I made this exact point. We had a segment dedicated. I don't know if we opened up the show with it one day, but the comparison, man, I know Rule's got an extra year on Morris at this point. He's in year 3 to year 2, but dude it's Waco. Like, it doesn't compare to Fayetteville. And, yes, Big 12 SEC, you can make the differences there, but they're like, what, 4th fiddle in the state of Texas in terms of college football teams? Think about
4th fiddle there. I mean, they're on a whole other instrument.
Yeah, and so, Robert, I agree with you 100%. And again, we'll see what happens in year 3. Morris has got a lot of catching up to do, but Baylor's one of the best teams in the Big 12. They got OU and Texas back-to-back in Waco, and they have a good shot of winning the Big 12. They control their own destiny right now, and I don't think they're going to beat them. They just lost their best linebacker in the Oklahoma State game, but as far as rebuilding goes, Matt Rule's done a heck of a job down there in Waco, Texas. If you ever been down to Waco and you've seen Baylor's facilities outside McLean Stadium, you can scoff at it a little bit because it's nothing compared to what Arkansas has in Fayetteville at all.
Exactly. So that's what I was kind of getting at. Is just there's no sense in our coach not being able to get to 5 wins if he can't do it. So have a good one, guys.
Appreciate the call, Robert. And look, there's realism to that. You can say, well, all right, a coach needs 3 years in order to really get things going in the right direction, but you've got to see positive momentum in that second year. I think everybody was willing to give Chad Morris a pass at last year. And it's not like you were expecting realistically to see 6 or 7 wins this season, but you at least wanted to feel like there was a little crack in the clouds, that there was a silver lining, so to speak, that there were things that you could hold on to, and there might be. I mean, Trey Knox, Traylon Burks, these are really good players. Mateo Soli eventually might turn into something on the defensive line. You got some of the kids in the secondary that have talent, but they're all on the field a lot earlier than you really want to see. The depth isn't there to clean up the fact that you're an inexperienced team, and maybe just maybe you still can't line up against an Auburn or an Alabama or an LSU or even a Kentucky or a Texas A&M and say, well, yes, we've got the same athletes or the same sort of athlete on the field at the same time. And just as you start to hang your hat on recruiting, and there are signs that this year's recruiting class is, I don't know if paying dividends, but that there's good things to them. The recruiting class for next year is now falling apart. This whole Martavius French decommitment just is, I don't even know the word to describe it with. It's head-scratching because, I mean, he was on campus for an official visit with his guys from Whitehaven, with Eason and with, I'm forgetting the other kid's name.
Tamarian McDonald,
all linebackers, all with Arkansas offers now. And French was the guy who's been committed, but it had been open that he'd been looking around, ends up at Chad Morris's house after the game. They say all the right things. He says all the right things to the media. And then later on that night, a very simple tweet, I am decommitting from Arkansas. No interviews, please. Nothing about God's plan. Nothing about respect my decision. It just looked like something that was fired off pretty quickly. There just seems to be something fishy about it. Yes, and a kid can make his own decisions about where his life is going to lead in the next few years. But it just seemed to be a little bit different. And it also means that you no longer have a 4-star recruit at the University of Arkansas for football for next year. Tough road to hoe, but we'll continue to hoe it. And we'll be back on halftime after the break on ESPN Arkansas and hitthatline.com.
You're listening to Halftime. This is the Morning Rush.
This forward-facing hog is the dumbest thing that was ever done in the Jeff Long administration. Yeah. It needs to be eradicated and removed from the logo inventory. This front-facing hog, awful. That is stupid that you would even have an alternate logo when you have the most unique-looking logo in all of sports.
Don't miss the Morning Rush. Weekdays from 6 till 9. Only on ESPN 95.3.
You always get more at Orr.
We always put the customer first at Orr Chevrolet in Fort Smith. Since 1924, the Orr family of dealerships has grown based on one simple principle. Give the customer more money for their trades and give them a lower price on their new vehicle. It's a simple concept, really, but one that very few dealers honor anymore. Hey, we know you paid a lot of money for your vehicle, and Orr Chevrolet wants to pay you the maximum amount for it today. Then we'll give you an awesome price on a new Chevrolet. But we're not done giving you more. Included with any new vehicle sold, Orr Chevy will also give you a lifetime powertrain warranty, 2 years of free maintenance, and free car washes for life. So come get a lower price and more money for your trade today at Orr Chevrolet on Auto Park Drive in Fort Smith and 24/7 at OrChevyFS.com. Chevy, find new roads.
You always get more at Orr.
You're born amazing, but sometimes life can bring the unexpected. That's why the emergency departments at Baptist Health Fort Smith and Van Buren are dedicated to providing the most trusted care to the Arkansas River Valley region. With a 30-minute or less wait time promise, backed by Baptist Health's comprehensive healthcare system, it's the rapid care you and your family can trust when it matters most. For the care that keeps you amazing, call 1-888-BAPTIST.
If football is being played, TGI Fridays in Fort Smith is the place to watch and enjoy. No matter the day of the week or time of the day, TGI Fridays has the game on and all your favorite beers, drinks, and appetizers, including $2 draft beers, $5 pitchers, and $3 specialty drinks. Plus delicious appetizers like loaded cheese fries, boneless wings, skillet queso, and lots more for only $5. Football, food, and fun all day long. If it's game day, it's TGI Fridays, I-540 and Rogers Avenue in Fort Smith.
This time of year is hectic, and we know you have things to do and places to be. Southern Tire Mart can help you get there and save you money on America's most trusted brands like Michelin and BF Goodrich. Take advantage of our $29.95 oil change, which includes a 27-point vehicle inspection. Come see us at Southern Tire Mart just off I-540 at exit 14 in Fort Smith today for quality Michelin and BF Goodrich tires and the best-in-class service. Get where you need to be with Michelin, BF Goodrich, and Southern Tire Mart.
full-time farmers, hobby farmers, and landowners, your time is important. Make the most out of that time with a brand new Branson tractor from Bush Machine & Tractor in Fort Smith. With tractors from 19 to 105 horsepower, we have a tractor that will fit your needs. Ask Bush Machine & Tractor about their special financing options and free loader rebates. Bush Machine & Tractor in Fort Smith is Arkansas's #1 Branson dealer. Check their inventory at bushtractor.com.
Your fence is more than a decoration. It's a reflection of its owner. Choosing a fence company should be done with integrity and quality in mind. The Fence Man has been providing fencing and security solutions for over 40 years. An in-house custom iron and gate department, plus an access control department. The Fence Man offers services other companies aren't equipped to do. The Fence Man, fencing and security solutions to protect what matters most. 479-782-3936 or online at thefencemancompany.com, a division of Quantum Property Services.
ESPN 95.3. Halftime is brought to you by Coors Light, made to chill. You're listening to Halftime with Phil Elson and Ty Richardson.
Takes it on the hop at the 9. He's got a seam, then planted as he got out to the 28-yard line. Dallas Washington picked him up and crushed him.
Welcome back to Halftime on ESPN Arkansas and HitThatLine.com. I'm Phil Elson, Ty Richardson in the studios. Cherokee Casino Hotline, 877-377-6963. Been reacting to Arkansas's 51-10 loss to Auburn. We slightly looked ahead to the Alabama game. We'll wait till later in the week for that, but also reacting to Arkansas's exhibition victory over the Little Rock Trojans at Bud Walton Arena on Sunday. And brought to you by Breeden RV in Van Buren. It is time to get outside. It is perfect camping weather. So head over to Breeden RV in Van Buren, where the year-end clearance sale is going on right now with great deals on new RVs, travel trailers starting at $99.95, fifth wheels starting under $30,000. Breeden RV is the only dealer that gives new customers maintenance for life for free. Also a great selection of pre-camp trailers and RVs to choose from. That's Breeden RV in Van Buren and at BreedenRVs.com. World Series starts tomorrow. Excited about that. How about that ninth inning? Yanks and Astros on Saturday. Home runs. Top of the ninth, DJ LeMahieu to tie. And then Jose Altuve in the bottom of the ninth. I got something on Altuve later on for 3 up, 3 down. But that sets up potentially, Ty. I think this could be the greatest World Series matchup as far as starting pitching in the history of the game. I can't think of 2 rotations that have ever had this sort of star power and depth and dominance, really. And still you may end up seeing both teams use a bullpen game, which also tells you the direction that the game has gone in. So last week of the baseball season, we'll certainly be talking baseball throughout the week and college football as well. All right, so let's see. We got Connor O'Gara coming up in the next hour, or pardon me, in the next segment. One of the things that you had to hate about Saturday's game was the fake punt. You know, and Chad Morris, Ty, had said that they'd been working on this one for a while. But you would not have known by the look at it or by the sound of it. So let's listen to it first, and then we'll hear Chad Morris's reply in the post-game comments on that fake punt and why they ran it.
2007 on a fake, and it's intercepted. And that's Chandler Wooten, who took that push pass from Sam Loy, and Auburn gets their second interception of the season and will take over at the Arkansas 38-yard line.
You know, and that was supposed to be a moment,
I'm not even sure what they were trying to accomplish right here.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Nobody was. That was supposed to be a moment where they were just reflecting on Darren McFadden. I mean, they had the camera there right behind D-Mac on the sideline. And, of course, I mean, this happens in front of legends of Arkansas football, players returning from the 1969 team, from the 89 Southwest Conference champions, and then McFadden, who led the hog walk and was there right there at the sideline while this amazingly ridiculous fake punt play goes down. He throws his hands up as if to say, "What's this?" And the way Taylor Twellman described it, how did he describe it? A push pass? Yeah. That was a free throw, and a bad one. It was way wide right.
There were so many comments and disses yesterday from when Sam Lloyd just from snickering in the press conference, like, Sam Lloyd's jump shot looks better than Jimmy Witt's sometimes. Like, just you had the worst play in college football last year, and you could take your pick. You could say the North Texas fake fair catch, or you can say Rakeem Boyd and Jordan Jones run into each other. And then once again, as you mentioned earlier, you become the laughingstock in the SEC. That is the only reason you're going to make Sports Center is not because of a spectacular play that your football program had, a great catch by Trey Knox, a great throw by Sarkle Hicks. It's a mistake, and it's an embarrassing play. And once again this season, you're on the front page of headlines for the wrong reasons.
And here's Chad Morris on the fake punt during his post-game comments.
Not the result we were looking for. It was something that they had showed, and we've actually been working on that for a couple weeks. I thought at the time that we needed something to maybe get us kick-started. We just weren't moving the chains, and maybe needed something to give us a spark. I knew we were going to try to have to steal a possession somewhere. Luckily, they missed a field goal, so that didn't hurt us at that point. But we were looking for anything to try to get a spark going.
You know, taking a chance is one thing, and I don't think anybody would fault Chad Morris for feeling that, yes, you are going to have to steal a possession if you have any shot in this ballgame.
Yeah.
Or for it to come in, on an attempted fake punt. But the design of the play, if it really comes down to your punter catapulting the ball like a basketball, then there's a problem, because that's nothing. Hey, I'm not saying that you're trying to do things the way somebody else has always done things, but that's reinventing the wheel, and being cute. That's the problem. I mean, the last year's North Texas thing, somebody wasn't paying attention. The Jordan Jones and Rakeem Boyd colliding in the backfield, honestly, sometimes I'm surprised that doesn't happen more often in football. But for this play, this is poorly designed, poorly executed. And, I was looking on Hogbeat. We have Nikki Chavanel coming on tomorrow. I want to talk to her about this because the media gets to see 20 minutes of practice per day during the week. And they're asked to not film special teams. And I think the media saw some of this. I don't think they saw exactly the design, but Nikki was writing on their comment pages about the reaction from Arkansas media seeing this play being worked out in some way, and they were laughing about it. So I mean, the media, the Arkansas media, not even the coaches, the media saw what was going on. They were being quiet about it because they don't want to lose what little access they're given right now. And they were laughing about it. It was bad from the design all the way down.
Yeah. He brought up the Boyd Jones play, so we might as well get to that too.
Very inconsistent. Oh my goodness, that did not work. Jordan Jones tackled by Rakeem Boyd.
Tom Hart, king of understatement.
Boyd's wrong here. He's either got to go behind the quarterback or he's got to be a lead blocker on that. But a lot of miscommunication there, and that one doesn't feel good, and it's embarrassing.
Man, embarrassing. So we got last year with that, the fake fair catch. Now you have this happening in the Auburn game. And you're wondering when the light at the end of the tunnel's coming on. And I hadn't gotten to this yet. I meant to bring this up first segment. I had a media member who I'm good friends with wondering if 2 or 3 years down the road, if this program's going to ever recover. And initially that seems like an outlandish statement. It's Arkansas football. They traditionally just had their ups and downs and stuff. But when's this program going to get back on its feet, man? Maybe I'm speculating too much, but you can't feel good about what's trending right now. And it's just everything seems lackadaisical at this point. Like every piece of that football program seems lackadaisical. And you're wondering, again, to my original point, when's the light at the end of the tunnel? When are you going to come out of this abyss? Because that's what it is. And that's not mischaracterizing what the Arkansas football program. This is the worst, if not one of the worst stretches you've ever gone through as a football program. And there doesn't seem to be any redeeming qualities coming up. It'd be different if you had a loaded in-state class this year, but you don't. It'd be different if you had a ton of recruits coming in, but you don't. You've lost 2 of them. When's it going to get better?
Right. And the problem with the 2-week stretch Arkansas is going in right now is now you start to see exactly how far apart it is the discrepancy between the really good teams in the SEC and Arkansas. Because, I mean, face it here, Ole Miss is on the bottom side of mediocre. Texas A&M, they're on the upper side of mediocre. Kentucky is mediocre. Auburn is a good SEC team. They're not great. They're good. They could be playing on New Year's Day, but they weren't good enough to beat Florida, and Florida pushed them around. Florida's also not a great SEC team. This year, the SEC great teams are Alabama and LSU, and that's probably it. Either one of those teams right now looks like they've got what it takes to win a national championship. I guess we'll find out more about LSU this Saturday when they go up against the Auburn defense that just ground Arkansas down to just 10 points. So, and whatever happens in Tuscaloosa on Saturday, you already know that there's, a giant difference between Arkansas football and Alabama football. So as close as you might have been previously against the high end and the low end of SEC mediocre, now you're 41 points worse at home against a good SEC team in Auburn. What does that mean going into homecoming against the number one team in the nation that it doesn't even really matter who they line up at quarterback? This is I think this kind of expresses what you're just saying right now, Ty, because these are the games where it starts to feel like, now you can't speak for the players. I feel like fans are letting go. Either ready to move on or are in such a pit of despair that they can't see that there's any light at the end of the tunnel. And we're not here to tell you that there is right now.
They'd be lucky to get $35K at Mississippi State in 2 weeks. I mean, that's what you're looking at. They'll be lucky to get 35,000 people in that game, 3 o'clock on the SEC network. And it's going to just look pathetic from a TV point of view. The players are going to be looking up in the stands going, what are we even doing? Fans moving towards apathy at this point. That's why I sound down in the dumps, because I am down in the dumps. This football program. I mean, there's someone find me a positive right now.
I think we asked for it earlier. I think we did. 877-377-6963. If there is a positive, a nice diving play to stop a fourth down from Joe Fouché. A nice 11-yard run by Rakeem Boyd. A fine 45-yard catch, run, and score by C.J. O'Grady, something they're becoming accustomed to. But those things become very far and few between. All right, we come back and talk in SEC football with Saturday Down South's Connor O'Gara, so stay tuned on Halftime.
You're listening to Halftime.
Arkansas Valley Electric Cooperative is excited to introduce Wave Rural Connect, bringing state-of-the-art fiber internet, TV, and phone services right into the homes of all their members. Get amazing fast fiber internet 100 megabits for only $49.95 per month, or 1 gigabit for $79.95 per month. Go to waveruralconnect.com to find out where they're installing in your area, or call 1-833-4WAVE-RC. Arkansas Valley Electric Cooperative and Wave Rural Connect, changing the communities we serve.
We've invented a new messaging system using the crisp sounds of Bud Light. Crisp Code. Lesson 42. This is how you say happy hour. It's happy hour. Let's go get some Bud Lights. That's it for today.
Brewed with no corn syrup. Bud Light. Crisp. Enjoy responsibly. Bud Light Beer. Anheuser-Busch, St. Louis, Missouri.
Did someone say, I'm hungry? Visit 906 Cocktail and Cigar Lounge on the Avenue. Try the new panini sandwiches like the Chicken Pyro or the Cubana or the signature 906 wings. Jumbo wings roasted with honey bacon jam. Want some spice? Try the black and blue wings. Experience their salads, flatbreads, coffees and desserts, top shelf wines and liquors, premium beers, world-class cigars, all in an atmosphere that feels less like a lounge and more like a destination. Sample, indulge, Indulge, escape. 906 Cocktail and Cigar Lounge. Treat your appetite on the Avenue.
Frank Rowe Furniture.
Made in the USA Furniture.
Frank Rowe Furniture.
Made in the USA Speed Queen Washer and Dryers.
Frank Rowe Furniture.
In-store, no credit check financing.
Frank Rowe Furniture.
0 down and 0 interest with approved credit.
Frank Rowe Furniture.
Family owned and no high-pressure sales staff.
Frank Rowe Furniture.
Find us on Facebook and Instagram. 405 Fort Street, Barling, Arkansas. Your Made in the USA headquarters.
Best seats in the house.
Hi, folks. Larry Rath here for Rath Auto Resources. Fall is my favorite time of the year. Football, fine weather, and my chance to flip the lot. We're out to sell every single car in our Rath Road Ready inventory and flip the lot during our fall clearance. That's right, every vehicle must go. To make it happen, we're discounting our entire inventory with savings up to $4,300 below retail. Even our special purchase vehicles are included, like 2018 Hyundai Elantra SELs for only $13,991. If you're keeping the car you have, let us take care of it for you in our Meineke Car Care Center with buy 3, get 1 free on all tires and 50% off brake pads. Don't miss out on the savings. Help us flip the lot. Get the Rath Road Ready vehicle that's perfect for you and save up to $4,300 during the fall clearance at Arkansas's #1 rated and reviewed independent dealer, Rath Auto Resources, and the Meineke Car Care Center, 4515 Towson Avenue, Fort Smith, or online at rathauto.com.
Requires bank approval. Vehicle purchase price affects trade allowance.
ESPN 95.3. Touchdown! Halftime is brought to you by Supercuts, who supports local teams. Supercuts. We're super into the movement.
Yeah, they got it going on.
You're listening to Halftime with Phil Elson and Ty Richardson.
And he's on in place of the injured Ryan Mallett, and he has been brilliant. 12 of 13. Dude, that one's caught. Touchdown. Whoa, what a rope.
Oh, my goodness.
Joe Adams.
There's not a backup in the country that can throw a ball like that.
Let's get with Connor O'Gara from Saturday Down South, our usual Monday guest. A little post-mortem on whatever happened in the SEC across the nation. Connor, we're still trying to make sense of Arkansas football right now. 51-10 loss to Auburn, and it shows you really how far Arkansas has to go before you can even be compete with a good team in the SEC. I don't know if I put Auburn in the category of great, but did you expect to see a 41-point blowout? I know the line was close to 20. What did Auburn meet your expectations?
I thought Auburn was going to cover a 20-point spread. I thought that they'd be able to win this game by several touchdowns, but to put up that many points is disheartening because in consecutive weeks, the most frustrating thing for Arkansas is that you've seen two teams who were going to run the ball, and they were not shy about it. They were basically coming out and telling you exactly what they were going to do, and Arkansas still couldn't stop them. It wasn't like they were schemed and beat with these crazy athletes all over the field and the skilled players on the outside. They just had teams tell them, hey, we're going to run the ball, and we don't think you can stop us. And sure enough, that's what happened. And this Auburn offense really has not looked like that all year. And I think that, well, with the exception probably of the Mississippi State game, but I think that seeing the way that Auburn came out ready to go on the road like that, I mean, you knew in the first 5 minutes of that game that it was going to be ugly. And that's the most disheartening thing is that, Arkansas is supposed to be a team that's figuring some things out in year two, and what do we really know about this team as of right now when they can't stay on the field with what you believe is a good but not great SEC team? Doesn't exactly bode well in year two.
Talking with Connor O'Gara, Saturday Down South here on the Cherokee Casino Hotline. Connor, I had a media member I was talking with yesterday at the Arkansas basketball game, and I try not to jump to too many conclusions. I think Phil and I do a pretty good job of telling people what we actually think than rather just create content and try and get controversy. But he told me he thought if this continued, if this trend continued the next 2 or 3 years, that Arkansas football might not ever recover in the SEC. Do you think that's a step too far, or could you actually see that happening?
I think the road is more daunting than people realize just because of the A&M factor. I mean, you've relied so much in the state of Texas for recruiting, and since A&M has been in the conference, it's obviously been really, really difficult. With Jimbo Fisher and all that money there, that is a steep hole to get out of because I think that just being able to win that state is going to be more difficult than ever, probably, if you look at the landscape with now even Baylor is getting back to relevance there. So I think that's part of it. I wrote the column in the offseason that got a lot of attention from Arkansas fans suggesting relegation. And I'm not saying that the SEC is going to take that kind of measure. That was just an exercise to see which teams would be relegated if that scenario did call for it, if we were revamping the way the Power 5 conference structure is. But, my gosh, how difficult is it going to be really to get out of this hole when you look around at the division, and it's brutal. I mean, it's absolutely brutal. Even if Arkansas got to a level where it was maybe flirting with bowl eligibility, I mean, what's best case scenario? What Mississippi State is right now? I mean, is that kind of where we're at with this program? Because it's going to take a lot more than just finding the right coordinator to do this. Or LSU, everybody's talking about the turnaround that they've had, and it's been dramatic, but they've had the athletes there. I mean, they've got a couple of 5-star receivers on the outside. I know Justin Jefferson's a 3-star guy, but I mean, they're still loaded with talent. Arkansas would take so long to get to that point. I don't know. I think that's an interesting discussion because there's no light at the end of the tunnel right now.
Connor, interesting stuff going on in the East on Saturday. You had Florida needing the comeback win against South Carolina. And would it be safe to say that the biggest game as far as outcome is concerned, certainly the biggest surprise, but also on the league standings, is Vanderbilt's upset against Missouri, and now you got a real logjam over there in the East Division.
Yeah, the East is madness. Go figure. It's going to come down to essentially this 3-team round robin to decide who's going to win the division and who's ultimately going to get beat by an SEC West team, because that's the direction it's heading in right now. And maybe I shouldn't lump Florida into that group because I thought Florida played really well against LSU a couple weeks ago, and they could have a better chance than what we've seen from Georgia and Mizzou lately. But yeah, I mean, my gosh, what a weird turn of events after Mizzou won 5 games via blowout and looked really good, like it had turned the corner, got into the top 25. They're starting to get some respect. Kelly Bryant's healthy. He had that kind of, I'm good game last week. And then to have that against that Vandy defense, like what in the world could have sparked that? And the thing that I've kind of thought more and more about in the last couple of days is, you know what, maybe Vandy was just playing for Derek Mason's job. Everybody saw the rant that he went on after the game. Clearly his team had some sort of extra motivation in that one because they're playing at a different speed than they have all year. I mean, that was just as bizarre of a game as I can remember in the SEC. I just did not have anything to suggest that was going to happen based on what we had seen the last month.
So you got LSU Auburn this weekend. Biggest game in the conference maybe for the year up until this point. Joe Burrow versus the Auburn defense. You give the Tigers, well, they're both Tigers. You give Auburn any shot going into Baton Rouge on a Saturday afternoon and pulling off an upset?
I'm going to say the Tigers are going to win this one. I'm excited. We're actually going to be there for SDS this weekend. I'm very, very fired up about that. My first trip to Baton Rouge, so really looking forward to it. I've already sort of started breaking down a lot of the different elements to that game, and I do think that the home team, the home Tigers, should be significant favorites in this one with good reason, just because I keep coming back to this Auburn scenario that we already saw play out against Florida, where when they fell behind, Bo Nix in obvious passing situations was not ideal. This LSU defense has played really, really well the last couple games, basically since the midway point of the third quarter against Florida. Since then, they have played lights out. Grant Delpit, Caleb Von Chasen, they look like they are healthy and playing at an All-America level right now. That's daunting because we don't think that Bo Nix is going to be able to keep pace with Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow should not need a last or a fourth quarter, game-saving touchdown to be able to beat this Auburn team. There's not going to be much that Auburn's going to be able to do to keep up, I think, with the pace that Joe Burrow's going to try and set in this one. As good as that Auburn defensive line is with Derek Brown and Marlon Davidson, as Arkansas fans know, I think that that's such a daunting task to have to try and shut them down for 60 minutes. I don't see that happening. I see LSU winning this game.
All guests join us on the Cherokee Casino Hotline. That's where Connor O'Gara is right now. Connor, do you think it was a little weird that CBS just kept showing that highlight of Joe Burrow's butt?
Yeah, I mean, a little bit, but at the same time, he's a prolific guy at this point. He's number 2 in the Heisman Trophy odds, or number 3, whatever it is right now. Yeah, I mean, a little bit weird that they showed it a couple times, but it's a butt. If you've seen one, you've seen them all, right? I mean, I think that the people whose eyes were subjected to that, they live to tell their tale. I don't think that there's, I saw The Advocate. I tweeted about it. The Advocate had the column basically demanding for an apology.
Yeah.
That editorial that somebody wrote. Like, if you're offended by seeing a butt on television in a sports game in a completely organic situation, then I'm sorry. Had Joe Burrow sat there and mooned the crowd and done a Randy Moss, different discussion. But that wasn't the case. It happens. Oh well. We're going to live to see another day.
All right, Connor.
Keep in mind here, there was never a replay of Nipplegate during the Super Bowl, and it's the same network, and that they're going to do it over and over again with a guy. I'm seeing double standard here.
Connor, real quick, last question before we let you go, man. Got about a minute left, so if you keep under that. Is Penn State the most forgotten team in college football right now?
Yeah, I think they kind of are. And you know what? I forgot about them, too. I didn't think that they deserve to start in the top 25 this year. I argue that all the inexperience they had on offense, they lost a ton of people via transfer, replacing Trace McSorley. Just kind of thought, you know what, I don't really want to put my eggs in James Franklin's basket right now. I don't really trust him to win close games, and that defense is legit. I mean, they play like an elite SEC defense. If you have not had the chance to watch Penn State, what they can do on that side of the ball with Micah Parsons and company, they are fun and explosive to watch. They had a really nice win over the weekend against Michigan, be able to respond late. Penn State is kind of forgotten about. Their season will be determined by what they do against Ohio State, of course. But yeah, I mean, I think right now they are sort of the forgotten team in that elite group that we talk about, and probably because they don't have this Heisman Trophy contender. Maybe that's kind of a reason for that. But I would not be sleeping on Penn State to potentially make a run to the Big Ten championship.
Connor, I'm excited to have you on next Monday. I'm always happy to have you on, but certainly after your first trip to Tiger Stadium. For this game, I know you probably wish it was a Saturday night, but you have Saturday night to go out and have fun there. So I'm looking forward to getting your review of BR on Monday next week.
Yeah, looking forward to it. It'll be a fun time. It's kind of nice that it's the afternoon. I know Saturday night in Baton Rouge is that experience unlike anything else, but it should be a really good time. Very much looking forward to it.
All right, Connor, have a great week. We'll talk with you then. That's Connor O'Gara from Saturday Down South. We have him on every Monday in the second hour. And I know Tigers fans, all LSU fans would rather have a Saturday night game. Maybe that helps out Auburn. Who knows? I think that's going to be a game I want to reserve for my picks. We got 3 up, 3 down to close out the show with the cherry on the top. So stay tuned to halftime. Back after this.
Shooters shoot. You're listening to Halftime.
Archery season is underway, and black powder season is just days away. And Jelco Outdoors has all your black powder rifles and supplies to get you ready for your hunt. Brands like CVA, Traditions, and Thompson Center. Stop by Jelco Outdoors, your premier locally owned sporting goods store in the River Valley, for all your fall hunting gear. Shop local. Shop Jelco Outdoors. And remember, a great hunt begins at Jelco Outdoors.
It's cleanup time at Gray Brothers Equipment in Fort Smith and Poteau. Make your best deal of the season on the best-selling economy tractor in Arkansas and Oklahoma, the L2501 Kubota, or increase your productivity with the larger L4701. Need something smaller? Try Kubota's BX or B-Series tractor. Now is your time for savings at Gray Brothers Equipment in Fort Smith and Poteau, where if you pick orange, you'll never get a lemon.
Do you hear that Coors Light being poured? It's the perfect temperature. How can I tell just based on the sound? I can't. But I can see that the mountain on the can is blue. And when the mountain is blue, your Coors Light is perfectly cold. Coors Light is cold lagered for a crisper taste, cold filtered for brightness and clarity, and cold packaged for peak refreshment. Doesn't that sound good? 2019 Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado. Celebrate responsibly.
What do you get when you pull into Tony's Tire Service? You get the best selection of tires for any car, truck, or commercial vehicle. Tony's Tire Service has Cooper tires and is ready to serve you to get you back on the road safely. They'll also get your vehicle fixed with brake replacements, plus an alignment with the best repair guy in the area. Tony's Tire Service has been serving the River Valley for over 34 years. Come let our guys replace your tires with Cooper tires and our service department to make sure the vehicle has the best brakes and alignments. Tony's Tire Service, 7200 South 28th Street in Fort Smith. Service you can depend on. The Ram Power Days event at Williams Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in Stigler, Oklahoma is underway. You can now get 0% APR for 60 months plus $2,000 combined bonus cash for up to $10,348 in estimated total value on select all-new 2019 Ram 1500 Laramie Crew Cab 4x4 models. Become one of the many proud and satisfied Ram owners with a great deal this month during Ram Power Days event at Williams Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in Stigler. Log on to buywilliams.com for more information.
We did it again. Evans Body Shop has been voted the best independent collision repair shop in the River Valley for the second year in a row. None of it would have been possible without our top-notch crew and our customers, friends, and family that take their time to vote for us. We would like to say thank you. We are humbled by the continued loyalty and support from our community and staff and will continue to go above and beyond every day. Evans Body Shop, 412 Gordon Avenue, Van Buren. Come by today and see why we say
Evans Body Shop, where we meet the nicest people by accident.
Is your home at least 10 years old and served by OG&E? OG&E is offering Arkansas customers a free weatherization program to increase your comfort and lower your bills. A trained crew will perform an energy audit at no cost to you, and if your home qualifies, our crews will install measures that will save you money. The services provided through this program are absolutely free to qualifying homes. If you could benefit from free home weatherization improvements, call OG&E at 1-800-272-9741. That's 1-800-272-9741.
Being the family superhero is a tireless job, constantly defending against skinned knees and sibling supervillains that won't share. But who's there for them if you're not? Your local Shelter Insurance agent. With an insurance superhero sidekick, you can find a life insurance plan that helps provide a safety net for your family. Find your insurance superhero at shelterinsurance.com. We're your shield. We're your shelter. Shelter Life Insurance Company, Columbia, Missouri.
Ask Shelter agents Marsha Cox or Phil Hicks about a free insurance review.
ESPN 95.3. Halftime is brought to you by Coors Light, made to chill. You're listening to Halftime with Phil Elson and Ty Richardson.
On first down now, Boyd the call. Catch back across the 40. Raheem to midfield. To the 40. To the 30. To the 20. He's going to the house. Raheem Boyd for a touchdown.
Co-host that you're making beef stew during a commercial break. I'm actually going to make beef stew tonight. Have in a freezer. Well, I just took it out of the freezer. Couple of cooked, perfectly medium rare filet mignons and some veggies that have been frozen in there before, and we are mixing it up with some beef stock. We're going to make the sort of stuff, Ty, that's perfect for this time of the year that you can eat off for a week. And yet here it was, you didn't even think I was telling you the truth that I'm really going to make beef stew.
Well, I just told you during the break that, man, I got to go to the bathroom right when the show's over. And then you said you followed that up with I'm making beef stew tonight. And where my millennial mind took me to is the scene in the Benchwarmers where they pick on the bigger kid and they say beef, or I think it's a smaller, scrawny kid, and they go, beef stew, and the guy farts on his face. So that's where my...
I was definitely not going in that direction. That must be part of the generational gap. I don't know. Although, hey, it's never put it above me to make a fart joke, but I really
generational gap.
Really wasn't trying to, unfortunately. I guess that I was going to put the beef stew in one of my 3 ups, but I already let the beef out of the bag, so I guess I can't do it. Here it is, 3 up, 3 down.
Strike 3. Good morning, good afternoon, good night. What does 3 up and 3 down mean to you, Airman?
End of an inning, strike 3.
Well, my first is the end of the American League Championship Series. A fabulous call from Houston Astros radio man Robert Ford. Because after DJ LeMahieu tied the game in the 9th with a 2-run homer, and I saw there's a Yankee fan, a kid who looks like he's no more than 10 years old, who on Twitter put a video out there. I mean, filled with F-bombs. I mean, into the angriest video you've ever seen from a fan, and he's 10. And he calls Jose Altuve a second grader. To be quite honest, the kid was about as tall as Altuve, but he cannot hit like this.
And that's driven deep to left center field. Gardner is going back. Looking up. See you later. See you later. Astros headed back to the World Series. Jose Altuve, a walk-off 2-run homer. And the Astros beat the Yankees 6-4. Win the ALCS 4-2.
Yeah, an awesome moment, and one that Astros fans at first might not have would have rather seen it end in the top of the ninth inning, but couldn't hold on to it. So this sets up the Washington-Houston World Series, and it is the 11th Major League postseason series that has ever ended on a home run. Second time it ever happened for Houston. Chris Burke, whom we've had on this show, one of the college baseball analysts on the SEC network, Burke, won the 2005 Division Series with an 18th inning home run against the Atlanta Braves. And then Altuve does it against Aroldis Chapman in the ninth inning. And I know, they'll always tell you, don't ever get beaten on your second best pitch, and that's what Chapman did. He got beaten on a slider instead of one of those high 90s to triple-digit fastballs, which, in all fairness, Altuve can turn around a 100-mile-an-hour fastball, too, just as he turned around that slider in the upper 80s.
Are Yankees and Philadelphia Eagles fans the most volatile, most annoying fans in professional sports?
Volatile, I would say there's a good chance of that. Annoying, I don't know I don't call Cardinal fans volatile, but I get annoyed by them because I just feel like the St. Louis Cardinals invented baseball.
Okay.
And they buy into the best fans in baseball thing. So I would say the Yankees fans are about as volatile as it gets right now. Eagles fans have a little thing to be worried about, though, don't they? At least the Yanks came that close to making it to World Series. Oh, no, by the way, I guess Yankees fans can now be angry that this is now the first decade since 1910 to 1919 that the New York American League Baseball franchise does not play in a World Series.
That's a statistic that we looked up last week, along with the, at one point, Minneapolis Lakers and then now Los Angeles Lakers, that they played in the title every single decade since the franchise's inception, and you just listed the Yankee sack. That's why when you see those type of fans complain about how their team sucks, you just want to punch them in the face.
Jay Texan says he's a Cowboys fan, and he'll admit that Cowboys fans are annoying too. And hey, you know what? I'm a Steelers fan. Steelers fans are annoying in much the same way the Cardinals fans are, because they truly believe they're the best fans in the sport. And when you continuously brag about that, then it's not true. It just isn't true. By the way, my first down is Astros and Yankees combined for a 196 batting average in the American League Championship Series. It's not like Houston tore the cover off the ball. Both teams also combined for a 290 strikeout rate. So amazing. And I'm anticipating, I don't know, it will depend upon how long the series goes, but if this World Series goes 7 games, you're going to see more strikeouts in this World Series than in any World Series ever played. So the offense is down. It's mostly because of K's.
First up for me, Phil, you got to eat lunch with my father, so now I feel all around simpatico. I mean, I think you met my dad before, but I don't know what y'all talk about, and I honestly don't want to know what you talked about. Cause
you should know what we were talking about, because like I told you, your ears would have been, it's like they were getting singed with a little match just hanging under your earlobes for a couple hours there.
My dad sent me a picture of the food you guys, or he got, and I'm assuming you got some good grub too, so I was a little jealous on the fact that I didn't get to grub, but I'm glad that you got to eat with my father and have a little conversation. First down for me of the weekend. Did you see Jeremy Pruitt grab? And I want to know where you reside on this, because there's the old school, new school, and again, I think I'm pretty good about leaning towards a lot of old school mentality and old school, because I think my generation saw. But I'm just not a big fan of coaches grabbing the face mask and yanking it one way or another.
No, it's ridiculous. You can't chop block a kid on the sideline. You can't punch a kid on the sideline. And if you can't pull somebody's face mask down during the game, you can't do it on the sideline either. I think without, and even if it's a little tug or if it's a two-handed tug or whatever, that's not cool. And so I'm in your camp here. For Jeremy Pruitt, he knows better than that.
And little asterisk by this comment for me. I think if a player is directly walking away from a coach and you grab their jersey or something to turn them around and look you in the face or something like that, I understand that. But it looked like from the view I saw that Garantano was looking right or walking towards Pruitt and looking at him. It's not like he was walking away or disrespecting him, anything like that. That's how I took it. And for Pruitt to just be screaming at him, yeah, that's one thing. That's coach. It's football. That happens. But then to yank up in there in the face mask and start twirl a little bit, I'm just not a fan of that. I think that needs to go by the wayside at this point.
Second up, Upset wins in college football happen, folks. 3 of them this weekend. And maybe Georgia Tech over Miami doesn't have the resounding feel of the other 2 that I'll get to. But think about this. Georgia Tech is undergoing and I took a couple of overtimes to beat Miami, but they're undergoing a bigger change in offensive philosophy from the triple option to what Jeff Collins is running. And yet they have found a way to get an ACC win against, look, Miami's not good, but they're not awful. I know they're not having the season that they expected under Manny Diaz, but hey, a conference win is a conference win. Georgia Tech got their first under Jeff Collins. And then there's Illinois' first win over a ranked team since 2007 with the victory over Wisconsin. And there's no doubt the Badgers were looking ahead to their next week's game. And not focusing on Lovie Smith's team. And then there's Vandy over Missouri, in which Vandy allowed 237 fewer yards than they'd averaged in their 3 SEC losses. So nobody would have expected Arkansas to have much of a shot against Auburn. Maybe you would have hoped they would have competed, but there are real-life examples right in front of you of programs that have been down in the dumps for a long time. Look, Oregon State beats Cal on the road. Oregon State lost all their conference games last year. They have 2 victories in the Pac-12 this year. So these things can happen. They're just not happening at Arkansas right now. Second down, pass yards in the Georgia-Kentucky game. Admittedly, in heavy winds and heavy rain all day in Athens, Georgia and Kentucky combined for 52 passing yards as the Bulldogs shut out the Wildcats 21-0. And Lynn Bowden, who ran the ball well but only made 2 of 15 completed passes for 17 yards. Jake Fromm threw for 35 yards. So passing yards way down. Looked like it was pretty tough to get the ball even in the air in Athens.
You mentioned the upsets. I'm also going to take that as one of my ups. My buddy is an equipment manager for the Illinois football team. They've had a terrible season, but for them to beat a top 10 team in Wisconsin at home, game-winning field goal, 24-23, it was pretty remarkable, and I feel good for him. And he said he had a heck of a time that night. And so you probably know what that means. Down, Cowboys won last night. Not only did they won big. I'm not a Cowboys fan. All my buddies are Cowboys fans. That's all I ever hear about is Cowboy football when we're talking fantasy in the NFL. So that's a bad thing for me. That's my second down for the weekend, Phil.
Third up, Kenneth Gainwell, Memphis Tigers running back, a redshirt freshman, became the first NCAA Division I player since 1997 to rush for 100 yards and have 200 receiving yards in the same game. 104 on the ground, 203 in the air as Memphis takes down Tulane 47-17. He's got 5 straight games with 100 yards and is 6th in the nation. By the way, it was La Tech's Troy Edwards, the last one to do it. Third down, no vote allowed on third paid assistant coach in baseball. We thought that there might be some momentum behind it, but it's not going to happen.
Third up for me, Isaiah Joe drills 8 threes in the Expedition game against UALR. Man, that guy can stroke it, and I love watching that kid play basketball. Second and third and final down, I just wanted the Slobber Hog to be big and in center court. It wasn't. That's being me being picky, but man, I just wish that Slobber Hog was mid-court, Phil.
You can get over it, though, right? You can at least accept where it is.
If they start,
it'll take a little time.
The basketball is really what matters. We know that, the play.
It's a busy court, I'll say that. There's a lot going on that. And there's a lot going on at halftime tomorrow. We'll have Nikki Chavanel plus your calls and your texts, so stay tuned with us. And for Ty, I'm Phil. Get up, get out, and get better.
Great camping weather is just around the corner, so at Breeden RV in Van Buren,